Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Quest Show. It is Thursday and I am here, although it is going to be pre recorded. Doesn't matter. It counts. I get the credit for being here, whether it's pre recorded or live. So I am here. I want to try to get this under 30 minutes, if at all possible, because people have things to do. I have things to do. So let's just jump right in. Please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I am on, because I am fairly inconsistent about getting here. So let's jump right in. So today, 60 Minutes fired a couple of their reporters. I believe they fired more people as well, but I did hear that they fired two of their top reporters from 60 Minutes. The reporters that had the heavy hitting shows. And one of the reporters, I believe, did um, the show that did not get aired about the detention centers and inside of them and how bad it is. She documented that, but 60 Minutes would not allow her to air it. And remember, 60 Minutes is on CNN. CNN owners are friends with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is pulling these strings in the background, right? So, like, that's what's so bad about all of these things, and everyone should be paying attention. And I know it's so much to pay attention to because it's just all bad. It's like anything that you can think about bad or against the Constitution or against the law or against the norms, that is exactly what Trump is doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what president gets mad because of factual reporting, right? You may get upset about it, but you don't try to go about getting people who are trying to hold you accountable and reporting to the American public who needs to know these things. You just want them fired, right? And it's the same thing with late night TV, the comedians. If you're making fun of him, he gets upset. So then he wants to fire you, get you off the air, right? He's got control of a lot of the local media because, again, these are his wealthy friends that have been able and allowed to monopolize media, right? Because he's allowing it. Donald Trump is like, oh, who wants to merge with whatever company? Come through me, right? So you pay him enough money, he's like, you gonna be on my side? Yes. Okay, you got it. You can merge, you can monopolize. I'm gonna call the shots in the background. I'm going to tell you who I want reporting on what. Like CNN, you have probably noticed a shift in CNN. It's not your imagination. Not your imagination. Trump's got a hold of them. That's why Anderson Cooper is gone. That's why, again, they're changing the dynamics of the show because Donald Trump hated CNN because they talked factual. He does not like them. So now he has his grips in them. Right? So now people are leaving. So they're going to start to report not factual, right? Because it's not like MS Now is a Democratic leaning station. It's a fact station. Republicans can go on to MS Now. It's not an issue. That's how it used to be in the years ago. Both parties were on Fox News years and years ago before the Trump effect. And then it just became a Trump station. That's it. Trumpy. And they don't even tell the facts. And then they leave out pertinent information for their viewers. So their viewers have no idea about the factual things, how we got to this place. That's why they're still blaming Biden for the economy. I just wanted to talk about that. Dell, surprise, surprise. They won a contract with the Department of Defense. Dell has. Remember, Trump went on TV and said, hey, everybody, buy a Dell right after he did some stock buying himself. So he bought stock in Dell. Then he went on TV like that same week to tell everyone to buy a Dell computer, right? So that his stocks go up. Dell, those owners of Dell are his friends who donated millions and millions of dollars to his campaign. So he owes them a solid. So now Dell has a contract with the Department of Defense. So the Department of Defense is just going to use all Dell products. There was no other, whatever. It's like, I don't know if someone else bidded on the contract. They were never going to get it. It was always going to be Dell because Dell, they bought their way in there. That's how this works, right? If you give the president enough money, he will do anything for you, even a pardon. So that happened this week. Let's see. Oh, also big news this week. Ken Paxton, who was endorsed by Donald Trump, won his primary. Why is that a good thing? Because he was running against Republican John Cornyn. I think his first name is John, or Cornyn, right? Cornyn is more of an established Republican. I guess you could call him actually a conservative. He voted with Trump, like for the things that Trump wanted, maybe 80% of the time. Some things he crossed the aisle and voted with Democrats, right? Because conservative, right? Like not a crazy MAGA. Trump was pissed about that. So then he endorsed Ken Paxton. Who is Ken Paxton? I'm going to let James Tallarico tell you about who Paxton is, but I do want to tell you why this is really important, because this is for the Texas Senate. We just don't win the Senate. James Tallarico is running. He is the one who beat out Jasmine Crockett in the Democratic primary. So we as Democrats wanted Ken Paxton because Ken Paxton is a damaged candidate, right? Cornyn was, James Tallarico probably would have had a harder time, but Ken Paxton is so damaged that Democrats actually have a chance of winning a Senate seat in Texas. And we need all the Senate seats we can get so that we can get control of the Senate. We're going to get control of the House, most likely, but we also would like the Senate because that would be the nail in the coffin for the Republicans. But let James Tallarico talk about Ken Paxton and who he is real quickly.
Expense of the people just happened in Texas. The most corrupt politician in America just became the Republican nominee for the United States Senate. 3 years ago, Ken Paxton was impeached by his own party for using his public.
By his own party. Ken Paxton was impeached by Republicans. Republicans knew he was repugnant. They impeached him. That's how damaged he is. But they all love him now. They all love him now.
Office to enrich himself and his donors at the expense of the people. That kind of corruption is the rot at the core of this broken system. It's why we can't afford anything. It's why we can't get ahead no matter how hard we work. For 50 years, mega donors and their puppet politicians like Ken Paxton have stolen from us with their bribes, their bailouts, and their billionaire tax breaks. Ken Paxton has gotten away with it. They've all gotten away with it. But that ends this year, in this state, in this race. If we, the people, can come together to defeat the most corrupt politician in America, we can defeat this entire corrupt system. We can start unrigging this economy. We can start raising our pay, cutting our taxes, lowering our costs. We can finally get ahead. It's time to come together. The people versus Ken Paxton.
So Tallarico is such a good candidate because he is able to talk to Texans, right? Because each state will require a different type of candidate, right? You can't have a Mamdani running in Texas. Like it just wouldn't work. But a James Tallarico, who is a Christian, a pastor, like well spoken, they like him there. He's talking their language, right? Affordability. He's also talking about God and religion. He knows it. He knows the scriptures. So Ken Paxton and Republicans are definitely worried right now. They are so worried that they are actually attacking James Tallarico, saying he is too feminine. They are saying he's a vegan, which he is not. They're saying that he is trans. Like they're attacking looks and like these fake things. They're like on Twitter, like a picture of him eating beef. They're like, that must be tofu, huh? Like it's really childish and high schoolish because they cannot attack his character. They can't attack his character. Ken Paxton has the character problem. Let me also let you hear James Tallarico talk about that, and we'll get back to it on the other end.
Corruption. Ken Paxton is the most corrupt.
And your opponent has taken to calling you Talafrico.
Well, I think if Ken Paxton is worried about freaks, he should stop.
Calling him Talafrico is hilarious because James Tallarico's team has already got T-shirts that say James Talafrico on them.
Giving Epstein-style sweetheart deals to pedophiles. You know, this is the guy who just released Adam Hoffman from jail and admitted child rapist after one of Ken Paxton's wealthy lawyer friends got involved in the case. Ken Paxton even kept him off the sex offender registry. Adam Hoffman was supposed to serve 25 years to life, but instead he served less than a month. As of this week, he's now back on our streets because of Ken Paxton's corruption. Ken Paxton is the most corrupt politician in America, and it is costing Texans. It's endangering our children, and it must end. I think the Epstein class has no place in Texas, and this November, we're going to come together to defeat Ken Paxton and take back our state for the people.
So let's go back to what he was talking about, just in case you did not hear. So back up. Adam Hoffman, some Republican in Texas. So let's back up. Adam Hoffman sexually assaulted a 6-year-old for 3 years until he was 9 years old. The 6-year-old child was his son's best friend. And Adam Hoffman sexually assaulted him again for 3 years. He was facing, I believe, 20 years to life in prison. But Ken Paxton there got his attorney friend to, don't know how he did it, but worked out some deal to get him less time in prison. I think Ken Paxton wanted to give him 1 day, but they were like, no, we have to do more than that. So the judge gave him 60 days in prison, and he has already walked free, serving only 30 days in prison. So Adam Hoffman is free. So Ken Paxton, just like the rest of the Epstein class, protects pedophiles, right? I mean, no wonder Trump endorsed him. He's a criminal. I mean, that's just on top of the other stuff that Ken Paxton literally has a mugshot as well, because he has been, again, impeached by his own Republicans. He had been charged with securities fraud, which I think he settled out of court. Like, he's bribery, using his office to like benefit himself. His wife divorced him because he committed adultery. Like just all of the values, right? That Republicans now, I guess, love these type of values. So that is who Ken Paxton is. So that happened. I don't know if that was this week or was it last week or was it Tuesday? Maybe it was Tuesday. That happened this week. Okay, I'm getting it together. That happened Tuesday. So what else is going on? So there is a hunger strike at the detention center in New Jersey. They are giving the detainees molded food. They are letting women sit in period underwear for days without giving them pads. These people don't have clean water to bathe in or to drink. A woman has miscarried and they've left her to tend to herself. Now, remember, criminals shouldn't be treated like this. Criminals get clean food and water, but these aren't even criminals. These people are being detained and they are not criminals. So why are they being detained? Why are they in prison when they're not criminals? Why are they in prison? A lot of these people have been like picked up going to their hearings, right? Doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, checking in, going to their hearings, and they're getting picked up by ICE and their paperwork is being ripped up. They're trying to do the same thing with the green cards, right? When you're renewing your information, immigrants are doing it way ahead of time, but Trump administration is delaying the information and the renewals so that there's a period of time that they're kind of undocumented, right? Like things are expiring and haven't been renewed because the administration is purposely not renewing. Like, this is awful. There are high school kids there. There are children there. They're not seeing daylight. They're not seeing sun. They're not eating well. There have been dozens of people who have committed suicide. The things that they're not telling us, that is what's happening. So now there is a hunger strike going on to bring attention to this. They're supposed to let the lawmakers in because they have oversight over those detention centers. They can drop in whenever they want. The detention centers are not letting them drop in whenever they want. They have to keep trying and keep trying before they can even get in. And also, the thing about these detention centers is this is the bigger picture is that they're privatized. Again, these are Trump's buddies, and the longer these people are detained, the more money that these private prisons are receiving. Wait. Someone did ask Mark Wayne Mullen about the situation, you know, the new head of DHS, who everyone said, well, maybe he'll be better than Kristi Noem. He's not. He's an asshole racist as well. But let's hear what he said about the detainees on their hunger strike.
Ethnic right food.
Oh, here we go.
And they choose Memorial Day of all the time to go protest something that.
Of all the time to protest, they chose Memorial Day. Like, were the detainees thinking about Memorial Day while they were eating their moldy food? What are we joking right now?
They say that that it's because they're on a hunger strike when there was only a handful of individuals that was refusing to eat because they want their ethnic group or their ethnic right food. Well, they can go back to their country and get whatever food they want. The fact is, we're giving them the calories they want. This isn't Holiday Inn.
These people are disgusting, and they're all laughing. They're laughing about it. We're giving them their calories that they need. Who cares if it's fucking moldy? They're getting the calories. If they want their food, if they want ethnic food, they can go back to their country. No, they just want clean water and food that does not have mold in it or expired milk. Suck. Cinco de Mayo, y'all running around friggin' every Mexican restaurant you can find, going to Mexico on vacation, going to Jamaica on vacation, going to all these different islands and places. You're not going to Mississippi on vacation. You're not going to Arkansas on vacation. You're going to all these beautiful islands on vacation, but here you're treating the people from those islands like shit because they're here in America, but then you go to their island and you want like the friggin' star treatment and you take advantage of their food, of their drink, of their beautiful islands. Like, these people really, really suck. Like, they're just awful people, and they're just laughing and they're just smirking because all of them, this whole administration, is as corrupt as the most corrupt in history. So let's take a look at what our health secretary is doing. Got to be something, about measles, taking care of measles, maybe figuring out what's going on with Ebola, the Havana virus, or whatever that is. Let's see what RFK Jr. is doing.
So what are they? Well, they were having sex, so what were they?
Moccasins.
Moccasins? What's the
No,
difference?
they're not moccasins.
Huh?
They're not moccasins.
Oh. Okay.
Are they biting?
Yeah.
Honey, let us go. Oh my God.
Jesus, the mouths are huge.
Please.
That's the health secretary. Like, why? He's getting bit by snakes. He's just catching them. Why? They're gonna try to cut their penises off like he did the raccoons? I mean, he's obsessed with animals. Oh, you didn't hear? He stopped his car when his children were young, left his kids in the car to go and cut the penis off of a dead raccoon. I mean, that's just one story with him and the animals. I mean, there are more. So when he's not catching snake for no reason with his wife laughing in the background, he's talking about penises.
Positive of all of the many other confirmation studies. There's 2 studies that show children who are circumcised early have double the rate of autism. It's highly likely because they're given Tylenol. So, none of this is dispositive, but all of it is stuff that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah. But, there's a tremendous amount of proof or evidence, I would say, as a non-doctor, but I've studied this a long time ago. I met Bob.
Trump has studied circumcision and penises for a long time, he said. There's no data. There's no facts. They're just making it up as they go. And MAGA just listen to it. It's just like, what? Is this it? How do they come up with this stuff? It's just like, let's say circumcision. Like, what? How come Viagra's not causing autism or something? Like, why is Viagra like the only thing that they're just not talking about? They don't want women to have birth control. They don't want Plan B. They don't want them. They don't want any of the things that women need. But Viagra, no one's talking about. There's no issues with Viagra. None. There's never going to be an issue with anything that men need. Babies, children, women. Oh yeah. There's always some kind of issue. Women shouldn't have Tylenol. They're pregnant. They don't want kids to have vaccines. All right, last thing. If I can read my notes. Trump. Let's end there. Trump wants to put his picture on a $250 bill. Whatever that is, but he wants his picture on it. That is against the law. Why is it against the law? Because only dead people get their pictures on money. Why? So there's no battle royale with living presidents or living lawmakers to get their names on money. They're not duking it out like, no, my name should be next. No, my name should be next. Bush, I want my picture on there. Obama's like, I want, like, that's why it's like, no, when you're dead, we'll figure it out for you. But when you're alive, no. But nope. Because he's a narcissist, he must think he looks good for some reason, because like, why do you think anyone wants to keep seeing your mug on anything? We can't stand to see you on TV. You look like saggy bricks. It's not a good look. Now you want to be on passports, your pictures on the Department of Justice, you're on the library, your name's on the Kennedy Center, you want arches, you want ballrooms. Like, what the frick? A library, the Department of Peace, you got your name there. Like, now you want your friggin' picture on money. You're thinking about money and how to get your picture on it, while Americans are thinking about how to get money in their pockets. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How is anyone okay with any of this? Maybe you're not, because his friggin' poll numbers are tanking. Last week it was at 29%. I don't know how he's not at 15%, because the only people that are supporting this nonsense are like the super hardcore MAGA who just, they don't care. He could say jump off a bridge and they would jump. He could say, give me your young daughter. They'd be like, here, take 2 of them. That's where we're at. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye.